What is going on, everybody? It is Monday night, 10 p.m., so you already know what time it is. The Sportsman is in the house. I'm your man, Eric Wilson. Man, it's been a minute. I've been gone. I've been drowning in my sorrows because, as you know, my team is no longer in the playoffs. But at least I will say I'm in good company because I've got the Queen of Hoops is back in the building with us tonight, Miss Megan Rice. Look at her. She got the sweater vest on. She got the glasses on. Look at the Queen of Hoop in the building. And then, of course, my brother, as I always like to say, he's a Sun Devil, Jerry. ASU, Pitchfork Lunch, my man Mike Carrots-Nudo is in the building. What's up, family? How we doing?
Man, I'm good. Brandon Ayuk, showing that Sun Devil love, baby.
I got to, man. Any chance that Ayuk be doing something, I'd be like, he's a Sun Devil, Jerry. Because we don't talk about that other team down there in Tucson, Mike. We don't talk about them.
Right.
Nope.
Well, so, as you mentioned, we are all on our way to Cancun.
I'm going to Barbados.
I have to run it back. I have to run it back because we had a mic drop moment, and I said, "Book it. We're going to the NFC Championship game." Talking about Dallas for those of y'all that don't know me. Yeah, man, lost in the wild card round. What can I say?
Megan, here's what I'm gonna tell you, Megan. See, here's the thing. You can't say it around John, okay? Because John got some like voodoo or something going on. Oh, you know what, Walt? Get out. Just goodbye, Walt. He already starting with that mess this year. We ain't even into the AFC, NFC championship game. And Mr. I don't like America wants to be in here. Well, keep moving with that, man. Keep it moving. Anyhow, hey, we got so much to talk about as always, but I do want to talk to y'all because, we haven't seen each other in a minute, just about the fact that, look, it's down to this. It is down to the Final Four. Kansas City, Baltimore for the AFC Championship game. San Francisco, Detroit for the NFC Championship game. I mean, this is truly going to be something that I think a lot of people kind of anticipated and expected. But, man, how we got here, let me just say this to start the show off tonight. Mike can attest to this, I picked Baltimore. Lamar, I just need you, my brother. Come on now. Philly didn't get in. I want to see Jackson 5 get to Vegas. But, Megan, let me start with you on this one. When you look at these four teams, are you surprised the fact that they're there?
I don't know if surprise is the right word. And I would say like the first three that you have listed, no surprise whatsoever. Getting to the Lions, I don't necessarily want to say that it's a surprise because I felt like they've been trending in the right way for a while. But the way that their defense has showed up in this playoffs, I will say that is surprising. So we shall see. I have believed in their offense for a while, but their defense has been pretty surprising.
Mike, man, you and I have talked back and forth, and we have talked about the fact that Detroit was that team we knew from 2 years ago. And listen, San Francisco 49ers, start running down the names from Purdy to McCaffrey to your boy Ayuk to Kittle. Debo didn't even play yesterday.
Right.
And San Fran still showed up. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. But, Mike, when you look at this, what are your thoughts on these four teams?
Yeah, I mean, well, Debo left the game early, but I mean, Eric, we talked about. I mean, you're saying you pick Lamar, and when we did our way too early Week 8, halfway season awards, I did say we have it on tape here that no matter what, Baltimore's the best team in the league, and to me, even then, it wasn't even close because yes. Every year, Ray and I love to go back and forth, and I'm not saying Ray does it, obviously, but we always say the goalposts get pushed back for Lamar. But I go to this every time. And for newcomers, Jamari, thanks for joining us again this week. And, Walt, I'm with you, Walt. Next year's our year, baby. Just for Eric.
Just stop saying it.
No, but that's
maybe if you stop saying it, maybe it'll actually happen.
Yeah, but Eric, when's the last time I've ever said that to you? I haven't said that to you in a long, long time.
I know. Please don't fall back into that.
I said it this year. No, I normally don't say it. I'm not the Cowboys fan to say it very often. This year felt different.
I know.
I felt like this was our best chance.
But I digress. Back to Baltimore and look, I just think the goalposts, like we always say, get moved for Lamar. And Eric, what do I always go back to? Even though I can't stand Bobby Petrino, every year in that offense, Lamar Jackson's completion percentage was higher. Yes, it is college ball. Yes. But when you look at, and losing Mark Andrews this year, and I know he even, at least he got to practice last week. I think you get him back even, and John and I talked about it last week when you were at the game, Eric. Even if you get Mark Andrews, it's not even about a decoy back in a limited role. Like what he means to Lamar Jackson, like you just offensively, like you can't cover him. His completion percentage gets better every year. Yeah, at times would you like Lamar a teeny bit more accurate on some throws? Okay, sure, but and you can say that for we can say that for a good amount of quarterbacks. But what Lamar's done, how the offense has just been able to evolve with that defense, absolutely balling out. And Eric, like I said to John last week, and when we talked about it, week 8, getting Roquan Smith from the Bears. And honestly, like if I see Bears fans, Eric, you know me, I'm not violent. I want to kick them in the shins like a damn 5-year-old. If I see anybody from the Bears front, I'm not Bears fans because it's not their fault. If I see anybody from the Bears front office Super Bowl week, I will kick them in the shins and just act like a 5-year-old. I mean, look, okay, Roquan Smith wasn't the money. You traded him for pretty much nothing. And the difference in the Roquan Smith trade, Eric, is Patrick Queen. Everybody loved this kid coming out of LSU. I mean, you saw what kind of hybrid linebacker he could be. Can as a linebacker, Megan and Eric, you have to be able to run with tight ends, right. The quote unquote tight ends, if they're listed as tight ends, because that's just the mismatch. Like, yeah, are you big enough to tackle running backs coming at you? But can you run with these tight ends? And Patrick Queen could do that. And I said to John last week, he felt probably that pressure early to do too much. People saying, oh, he's out of position, this and that. Ever since Roquan Smith got there, yeah, it was half a season last year, right? But off season and now, I mean, Patrick Queen's even better. They might not have that ultimate. I mean, the team, they would have 16, 17, 18 sacks, whatever it is this year, at least second game or 20 or no, 40. What am I saying? 17, like 40, whatever it is. Like they don't have that huge guy like, the Terrell Suggs was. Like you knew like he's lining up down and he's going to get after you. Oh, and by the way, Eric, he was the Sun Devil too. I just thought I'd throw that in there. No, but that's the thing. Like what Roquan Smith has done for Patrick Queen, and we all know it doesn't matter who's coordinating that Baltimore defense. John Harbaugh's been there long enough. Like, yeah, you're going to get a Marvin Lewis. Yeah, you're going to get a Rex Ryan. You're getting defensive coordinators of that ilk. And what is like Steve Bisciotti, Eric, I'll wrap it up on this, just continues to do what Ozzie Newsome did, man. Like you draft great and you develop these dudes and people say, oh, it's boring, this and that. Man, I don't give a crap. Like, me, give me a 14-10, 10-7 game when defenses are punching the crap out of the offenses and they're trying to make moves. I'm not talking about sloppy dropping passes, but I mean, and long story short, today, I mean, I'm not really surprised about the 4 because like you said, we were on the Lions week 1. Yeah, there was a drop touchdown in Kansas City, but they went in there and punched them in the mouth. But the difference with this year, and we didn't feel that like the defense couldn't hold up. The secondary's been the question. The front 7 got even better, and we didn't feel like they're going to just, crap the bed like they did for 7 straight weeks last year and then go on an 8-game win streak to end the season.
Yeah, and again, shout out to Dom, saying he just popped in to say Lions, man. Listen, we already knew what the Lions.
You always talk crap to Megan and I. Hold on, Eric. Dom always talks crap to Megan and I. Hey, man, congrats. I never hate on your team. You're just like I told John last week, Eric. I refuse to respond to trash talking from trash-ass Cardinals fans when it took 53 years in between playoff appearances and you still haven't won a Super Bowl. So you can say, oh, the Cowboys haven't been to the Super Bowl in 30 years, and people enjoy that. What's in that sentence? Been to the Super Bowl. Okay, man. I won't take it from certain fan bases, Dom. I always respected the Lions fan base just because, come on, man. You guys wore bags to your – yeah, what's a Cardinals fan? Exactly, Dom. Exactly. 100%. And I want to root for Eric's old defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gann. I like – I mean, from what I've seen of him, I like what he's done. But
can we not put Eagles?
Their quarterback doesn't even like their team.
Can we look for the rest of this season? Can we not put Eagles and defense in the same sentence because it just don't go together? Okay, I'll be the first one.
I wasn't trying to pick on you. I wasn't.
No, I know you weren't. I'm just saying it don't go like that. Look, when I look at let me run down because we haven't even got to Kansas City here. But when I look at Detroit, like I said, I knew this 2 seasons ago with this team establishing who they were and what their identity was. San Francisco, again, that's just a team that everybody week in and week out was saying is the most complete team. And quiet as it's been kept because they haven't been talked about much. Baltimore has just been like, hey, we'll fly under the radar.
Not me.
Right.
I talked about
well, not you, Mike. I'm just saying in general.
Hey, as you see from our weekly picks, Eric, and our season picks, I don't get much right. So if I do get one thing right at week 8, I'm a very happy camper.
No, and I feel you on that one. What I'm just simply saying is Baltimore was looking at it like, okay, you want to keep talking about the success of Dallas? That's fine. You want to keep talking about the greatness of Patrick Mahomes? That's fine. You want to keep talking about Josh Allen coming off of, losing to Philadelphia and then riding 5 games straight, pushing that momentum into the postseason? That's fine. We're going to keep doing what we need to do to put us in this situation. They're the number 1 seed. To get to Vegas, you got to go through Baltimore. And it just feels like this year with Baltimore, it is going to be different. Listen, I am a huge, always have been, always will be. I had some questions about Lamar Jackson with regard to his whole contract issues, him staying in Baltimore, what was going to happen, what was he going to do? But at the end of the day, what I cannot and will not ignore is that this man refuses to let anything stand in his way of doing what he wants to do on his time and on his watch. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everything. So, because I saw something today where it was like Lamar was making $80 million this season and Brock Purdy's making $870,000 this season or something.
Eric, they've been posting those hilarious things.
They've
been posting those hilarious things all year, like like what Caleb Williams made in NIL this year and what Brock Purdy on his rookie contracts made. It's. I mean, that's hilarious. And look, the one thing I will say too, guys, about Baltimore is that, we talk about Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. John Harbaugh obviously he was a special teams guy and a damn good one too. I mean, you look back, but not many people. And Ozzie Newsome has the vision, not just because of the name, but it's stability. Like we say it every year in our picks, Eric. Like, obviously our Alex is saying, told you Cleveland ain't relevant last week. Eric, I thought about that. I said it on the show. I go, John, Alex smiling down at me and Eric, just saying, want to talk about being relevant again. Yeah. Flacco, everybody's Flacco, this and that. And then they crap the bed and then they're not relevant. So Browns fans,
Houston.
I'm just shouting out our boy. I'm just shouting out Alex.
Against Houston of all teams. Like we all thought Cleveland was going to do something. Myles Garrett was going to do something. He was a guy that I was pushing for defensive player of the year. And so I was just
he's still in the running for that. But
he's still in the running.
I'll just say,
but that performance, come on now.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's a regular season award. But yes, but it's John Harbaugh. It's that it's you're gonna kind of copy-ish from the Steelers. I mean, yeah, if they were going through a ton of losing seasons or 500 or the Jeff Fisher, which is not Mike Tomlin, but I just find it hilarious when and I don't know. I mean, Mike Tomlin, whatever. They probably, they know what's out there. He probably tunes out over half the outside noise. But you have what you've always done in Baltimore. You've played defense. Now you have an all-world quarterback who's probably going to win his second MVP, even though, if I had a vote, Eric, I'm going with McCaffrey, not just because it's not a quarterback, but everything we say about the offense, about Debo, to me, it's exponential too if McCaffrey's not there. But Lamar Jackson and you're staying to your program and they do it better. I mean, look, Ozzie Newsome, as we know, did it for a long time better than as good, maybe not better than everybody, but as good as the upper echelon. And the Ravens just copy that. Like, we don't need to hear, if they're, Lamar got hurt last year and it's a 5-game losing streak. Eric, did we ever talk about once how, John Harbaugh's on the hot seat? Did any,
Never.
I'm just saying us, but we didn't as a show. We didn't hear it anywhere. Mike Tomlin, this and that goes back to the playoffs. Okay, they're losing the first. It's like, yes, you have to get to the playoffs to get to the Super Bowl. So that part always just cracked me up. But the Ravens, I mean, like I said, doing it that way, and it's man, Buffalo is crazy, but M&T Bank. I know we're going to get to obviously the Bills Chiefs game, but that stadium's going to be nuts next week.
Yeah, Ravens Chiefs. Yeah. So we're going to take a real quick break. Go ahead, Megan. Final word. Then we're going to take a break.
Okay.
Yeah, before we jump off of Detroit, I just want to give a shout out to what having a coach who believes in you can do for you. You know, Jared Goff was completely given up on by his team. Everybody thought he was traded away to career purgatory,
It
or
was just or to make the money even, Megan. It was just to make the money even.
Right, right. And look at what he has become over there. He's like even kind of come out of his shell. Like when Brady went down to Tampa, he kind of came out of his shell. He was a little more likable. Over there in LA, Jared he seemed just kind of like, I don't want to say a puppet, but kind of a machine. Like he just didn't really have a whole lot of personality to him. And having a coach that could believe in him and still see like, hey, there's still something here. And like
Right.
when
100%.
Pop told DeRozan after they traded Kawhi, he said, "No, I traded for you. Like you're the person I picked out of everybody. If I had to get rid of Kawhi, I was going to go after you." And I feel like that's the type of environment that Dan has created there for Jared. And look at how well he's flourished. So, you know, you
100%.
don't
Megan,
just give up on.
You know Jared Goff was a Pac-12 quarterback as well.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. That's it.
Here
All
we
right.
go.
I'm gonna end it by simply saying this. In the words of our beloved Clean of Hoops, I got 2 words for you. Coaching matters.
Man.
All right. With that, when we return, we are going to talk about the one team that we haven't touched on. That is the Kansas City Chiefs. More with Megan, Mike, and myself when the Sports Already continues in just a moment. You see it there, ladies and gentlemen, the National Scouting Combine coming up in less than 1 month. All the draft eligibles, all the free agents who want to get their shot, their opportunity, and really have a true, unbiased opportunity to get real-time results, to be able to put themselves in the best position, to be able to seen by scouts, coaches, organizations, and just take that next step in their journey. The National Scouting Combine, you see the website right down there, nationalscoutingcombine.com. Make sure if you have the opportunity, sign up. Make sure you are there. All right, let me get back with the Queen of Hoops and, of course, my man Mike Caratanudo. So we were talking about the Final Four, and the one team we did not talk about was, in fact, the Kansas City Chiefs, because I think it stands to reason, and I think it's safe to say this. The Kansas City Chiefs, as long as Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback, Andy Reid is the head coach, and Steve Spagnuolo is the defensive coordinator, that team is going to be in the AFC Championship game no matter what. Because for the first time in Patrick Mahomes' career as a starter in the NFL, he has had to go on the road to win. Now, he did have a home playoff game against Miami, and they were successful there. But then to go into Orchard Park yesterday, and with everything kind of on their shoulders, the weight, they went in and did what they had to do. They beat Sean McDermott. They beat Josh Allen. They beat James Cook. They beat Stephon Diggs and that Buffalo defense and said, we are going to make sure that our bottom, our basement in the NFL is the AFC Championship game. And here they are again. So are we putting not enough emphasis on the fact that this team continually does it? Or is it just become so routine for us that we just sit back and go, oh, it's Kansas City. It's Patrick Mahomes quarterback, and yep, they'll be in the AFC Championship game?
I mean, I think it's pretty similar to any of the other big stars. You know, you got LeBron on the team, you know, you got a chance. You had MJ on the team, you know, you had a chance. Like, I think that is very similar to that. Now, I'm not ready to sit there and say that Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT at that position because, I mean, obviously Tom Brady exists, but and his 7 rings, I mean, I say this too, winning matters. So, I mean, you just kind of have to put it there with that. And I'm not ready to sit there and say that Patrick is the GOAT, but I think you definitely have a chance at a Super Bowl as long as you got a healthy Patrick Mahomes and at least half of an ankle, you know, because I mean, he does have some ankle problems, but I mean, he still manages to play on them. They do look shaky this season, though. Something feels off, something feels different. It doesn't quite seem like the same connections with his receivers. Him and Kelsey don't quite have the same connection that they've had in past seasons. So it's still shaky. And I'm definitely not going to sit there and say, oh, they're for sure going to the Super Bowl this year, because the 2 teams that I think probably have the best chances to make it to the Super Bowl are healthy, and they're the most complete teams, and that's San Fran and Baltimore at this point in time. So, yeah, there are a couple of injuries on both sides, but not many. So, I think that's going to play a role, and I think that chemistry is going to be different. And then another key component is we know how loud Arrowhead is. We know the energy that brings. Yes, they were able to go to Buffalo and win in that weather, all of that. But they seem to have Buffalo's number no matter what they do. So, especially in the playoffs.
All right, Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say in the postseason, man, I agree. And here's the thing, Eric. I mean, you hear a lot of conversation last night, and people are reacting. Look, I mean, Josh Allen played an insane game. Like the Chiefs' defense, to Megan's point, like what they did and what they were able to do. Look, they got lucky on a few drops too. I mean, it's like the Chiefs receivers went over and rubbed their hands on the Bills receivers' jerseys because there was a few crazy drops. And I'm like, they're like, hey, like Stephon Diggs dropping that deep ball. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like that. I mean, that's touchdown. But look, yes, I mean, I've said it. As long as if they have Patrick Mahomes, yes, they'll be in it. But I think defensively, this season, when you focus on this season alone, Travis Kelce, I mean, he hadn't had a touchdown in a minute. He had 2 last night, and Eric, that second one, you and I could have caught, like, putting our hands behind our back. There was nobody within 15 yards of him, which how is nobody within 15 yards of Travis Kelce? Like, that's one. But look, I mean, as for a game plan, like Buffalo did the right thing. They shoved the ball down their throat. And look, if I'm Baltimore, I'm just sitting there smiling watching that game, Eric, because I know that, yes, their defense is going to be a challenge. But when Chris Jones is on the sidelines, like, that's the whole thing. If you're the Chiefs, like Steve Spagnuolo, you and I always agree, like he can come up with something to maybe stall.
And he always does. And the man has been coaching since we've been watching football. And I'm
right.
How does Steve Spagnuolo always find a way?
But
I mean, he had the perfect warm-up match within Buffalo because Josh Allen is so mobile.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing too. Josh Allen is very mobile, but he's not. He doesn't have. If Lamar, no, but if no,
not the same as Lamar,
right,
but it's a nice warm-up.
Lamar's even, he's gone, and that's the thing. Like you can stall Lamar for a minute, but here's the thing. Here's where his growth is coming. And look, and even if Mark Andrews is on a play count, I'm going to go to this because Eric, we all know it. We all know that if he's on a play count, what it'll mean to him. But if Andrews is on a play count, but Lamar Jackson, okay, so I mean, D'Amico Ryans had a hell of a game plan. We saw the dogs they had on. I mean, that was the young side of the ball. But you rush 4 and you're dropping people in coverage, and what happens? There's nobody to cover land against Lamar Jackson. You come after him. Flowers is catching the ball. OBJ's catching the ball. The little dumps to the running back. And then if you get Andrews back, like if I'm Steve Spagnuolo, it's like, okay, we're going to leave Lamar. If they say, okay, we're going to let Lamar beat us in the pocket, which of course, isn't going to happen every play. There's going to be some kind of breakdown, some good block, whatever. It's going to spring Lamar if he wants to go. But he can still pick them apart. And then you have those running backs. Like, I just think to Megan's point too, and yeah, everybody had their fun, with the drops this year with Kansas City saying, oh, and then Kadarius Toney, everybody's saying, oh, it shouldn't have been a penalty. Like, he was lined up offsides. Like, cool, let me line up 5 yards downfield then, Eric. Let me go 10 yards downfield if it doesn't matter. Like, But the drops were huge, and Kelsey getting back into the offense. But I see Baltimore top to bottom, and I'm not even saying it's because I'm not. You know me, Eric. I'm not even saying because Tyreek Hill is gone, all this stuff. But I look at it and I see what the Chiefs defense has to do. And I just think that Baltimore, you go into it and you're not going to be cocky. You know that because, like you said, Eric, 15's staring you down. So if you're going to say, oh, we got it. But it's almost like Baltimore's going in saying, hey, we have every piece to the puzzle and we have every answer to the question. So, look, I mean, do I think it'll be a good game? Yeah, but in today, not last season, not the season before, but in this season, Eric, you know me dealing in right now, I don't see the Chiefs beating the Ravens.
It's a hard. It is. I have to stay with. I cannot deviate from where I stood back in August and September. I said Baltimore. Did not know they were going to come out like this. But the fact that they are in this position, the fact that they are here, the fact that you have to go through them, you have to go through their fans.
Yep.
And if Lamar showed me anything, and Mike, you'll appreciate this, that game against Miami, Lamar said, I don't care if this is the fastest team, the fastest offense in the NFL. I'm going to run the football and I'm going to put up as many points as humanly possible because I'm not giving Tua, Tyreek, Waddle, Mostert, or anybody else the opportunity to try and score.
Yeah, and don't tell me that Baltimore didn't have that game circled because of how they crapped the bed last year against my.
I know.
In the fourth,
no, they did.
You and I are on the same page. Yeah,
I'm just saying that mentality I feel is what has brought them and continued them throughout this entire season. So, as much as I appreciate and love and respect everything that Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs have done, Harbaugh and Jackson have been just such a. They've done such the consistency. The one thing I talk about with regard to my own team, be consistent. And that is what the Baltimore Ravens have been this year. And so I completely agree with you. Listen, is this game going to be – it could go any which way. All I know is I know Lamar has the physical capability. He has the mental toughness. I'm telling you this much. Even if they do, as we say, if they put Mark Andrews – let's just say we put him on a pitch count, he's still going to be a guy you have to respect.
For sure.
Because if you don't, you know Lamar's going to find him. It's no
Eric,
different than Patrick finding the Kelsey or any other quarterback tight end combination. And really quick, before I let you go, Mike, shout out to Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelsey for now being the NFL's top quarterback tight end combination. They surpassed Brady and Gronk and hit 16 in yesterday's game. Go ahead, real quick. Then we got to go take another break because my man Raphael's back here waiting on us.
And I'm just going to say, Zach Ertz signed with the Lions.
He did.
Today. Boy, Ertz going to get a ring, baby.
Listen, no one is happier that Ertz is playing in an NFC Championship game more than me because 86 is definitely going to make a difference. Hey, we're going to take a real quick 10-second break because when I come back, we've got the sports gambling doctor in the house, my man Raphael, talking about AFC, NFC championships, talking Super Bowl and a couple other things. We'll be back in 10 seconds. What's going on, y'all? Your man Eric Wilson for the Sports Arena. I got my man in the building with me. Doc Sports Service own Rafael Esparza is in the building. Good evening, sir. What's up? How are you?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing well, man. Doing well. So I'm sure as you've been listening backstage, we are talking AFC and NFC championship, man. So as Doc Sports Service, as I call you, the sports gambling doctor that you are, talk to me about these matchups, man. Where are people going to be placing their bets and what's the line looking like? And I know it's only Monday and things could potentially change, but talk to me about where we're at right now.
I mean, I think the numbers are going to pretty much stay the same. KC, Baltimore, the early game at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's 3.5, totals 44.5. Would not shock me. If it stays flat, I think the Swifty money might come in. Maybe we'll see solid threes across the board. I don't see a 4 popping up. I don't see that much Baltimore money coming in. Total, I probably think it's probably going to stay the same. The only thing that's going to scare me about that total, it's supposed to rain in Baltimore Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, no rain. But if that front stalls a little bit, maybe some early rain on Sunday, we can see something different on that one. That might affect the total. But I can guarantee you the sports books will be huge Swiftie fans for this game right here. Because Baltimore money is going to probably come in home field advantage on that one. Detroit, San Fran. San Fran 7, totals 51, probably stay the same. I don't see anything happen. If it does, maybe we drop it to 6.5. Some Detroit money. Let's favorite the NFL Detroit. Probably everyone's biggest fans right now, the Lions, just because of the great storyline, never been there for the first time ever in a Super Bowl. So I think Lions money will probably come in. So it wouldn't shock me if we see 6.5 on that one. I just think the rain probably hurts the 49ers worse than it hurt the Packers last year. I think that's why they maybe came out slow. Green Bay always plays in bad weather, so they're used to that rain. Looked like the 49ers never saw rain before in the first 2 quarters in that game. I expect a close one. This one, I maybe take the Lions plus the points if you can get the 7 now. But networks want KC and 49ers. Let's face it. They want the Swifties versus the 49ers. That's what the networks want for Super Bowl. I don't want that because that means all my consulting jobs that I do for Sportsbook, they'll probably want 1,000 Swifty Super Bowl prop bets. So I am probably one of the biggest Baltimore Raven fan on Sunday. I'm not a Baltimore Ravens fan, period, but I am going to be the biggest. I have a Ray Lewis football jersey signed from the Super Bowl. I might put that on while I watch the game just because I do not want Kansas City in the Super Bowl because I would probably have to dedicate the 24 hours on how many Taylor Swift Super Bowl prop bets I will have to do. So give me the Ravens.
At least she's not doing the halftime show because that would just be way too much Taylor Swift for all of us. Let me get Mike and Megan.
She turned it down not once but twice, I heard.
I know. So really quick, since I got you in here, and again, thank you to Rafael Esparza, Doc Sports Service. So you got 2 Cowboys on the screen and an Eagles fan, man. So if you don't mind, what are our way too early season predictions for next year with our 2 teams being the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles? What are the bets looking like already for next season with those 2 teams?
Raphael, you just tell them the Cowboys are better.
I'm glad you read my emails because you're on my email chain and you saw what I put up. NFC prop bets, Philadelphia Eagles and Dallas Cowboys next season. Both teams to make the playoffs. Plus 150. Cowboys the only team to make the playoffs, 2-1, and the Eagles the only team to make the playoffs, plus 250. And neither of them, give me neither, at plus 250. And then we have the Cowboys to win a playoff game next year. The no is the favorite, minus 140, and the Eagles to win a playoff game next year. The no is minus 150. So that just tells you right there that us odds makers don't give the NFC East any love for next year.
No, never give us no love, man. Don't never give us no love at all.
Well, I think
we don't love ourselves.
Don't play that card.
The Eagles are going to have some. They might have some payroll issues towards the end. Cowboys are the Cowboys.
Too.
They do. They have some free agents. How they're going to sign that one? I made those odds not because of the names or what happened in the playoffs, and I made these odds because what's going to happen to them all summer. We could see some issues. They could lose some guys that think that's going to hurt them. Maybe their names don't make it about like, oh my God, I can't believe we lost this guy. But when they hit the field next year, they're like, wow, I wish we had this guy.
Yeah,
I'm saying some of the names that we kept.
Listen, I'm saying that this year, like we traded CJ Gardner Johnson to Detroit and kept James Bradbury. So I'm gonna keep it moving. Hey, Raphael, do me a favor before I let you go, my brother. Let everybody know where they can find you, sir.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at VSI.sports. You can find me on Instagram at Rafael Esparza. You can find me on a lot of these new shows I'll be doing for NGBN TV starting January 29th. So I'll be bringing out some great stuff with some of our affiliates that we have for some sports books that can't announce it yet, but we'll be doing some really, really good stuff. So follow me all there, and I hope you guys all enjoy the crazy prop bets that you guys will be seeing, and I will be talking about a lot throughout these TV shows. shows and interviews. So it's a fun thing to do. Eric, you've been on my list, and you've seen some wacky stuff that I have done. Will you be in Vegas for the Super Bowl, Eric?
Unfortunately, not this year. The gods did not bless me this year, and Philly's not going to be there. So you know what? I'll be like everybody else. I'll watch from home. You know what I'm saying? I got the best seat in the house.
I was gonna say, Nick, this coming weekend is the AVN Awards in Vegas. So if you want to go to that, and then we can just hang out for Vegas for the Super Bowl. So I just wanted to see if you wanted.
Hey man, I got 13 years. I can't be going out to the AVN Awards. You know what I mean?
I got 24 years on you, but work is work. Gotta cash those checks. My wife's got an Amazon addiction problem.
Facts. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, my man Raphael's in the building. Stay tuned. More with the Sports Arena in just a moment. Thank you, brother.
Take it easy, guys.
Connecting your brain and body with interactive games and tests. Why is there no physical activity in today's health physical? Trazer is an holistic technology used to rehabilitate, prevent falls, and improve sport performance. Trazer reports provide you, your clinician, your physical therapist, or athletic trainer objective data to make decisions on your health and performance over time. Measure what matters to change your game. Take the Trazer Challenge. Confidence, growth, connected by Trazer.
Welcome back into the Sports Arena. Your man Eric Wilson alongside the Queen of Hoop, Miss Megan Price, and Mike Carrot-Tenuto. All right, so it is Monday, I know that, but we're going to give some early predictions before we transition to our last topic tonight here on the Sports Arena, which is the NFL Coaching Carousel. So just so I'm clear, Mike, you and I are saying Baltimore. Megan, who are you saying in the Baltimore AFC Championship game match against the Chiefs? It's Monday, and you reserve the right to change your mind by Friday, Saturday. So, but in this moment,
I think I'm going to go with Baltimore just for probably the factor that I think is going to be one that stands out the most on this stage is that it's on the road. And I think the way Baltimore showed out, the way those fans showed out on Saturday, I think that vibe is still going to be there. So I'm going to go be more.
All right. And then with the NFC Championship game, Mike, who you taking?
Yeah, it's tough because my boy, my fellow Sun Devil Chase Lucas plays for the Lions. Another Sun Devil there. We got Brandon Ayuk. Oh, dude, this is so
Mike,
tough.
You can give a Mike Carrot-Tenuto answer right now. It's okay because you can change your mind come Saturday. So I'm just saying.
You know what? I'm like I just think it's their year. I think I'm going to go with the Lions. I'm going to go against what I said originally. I picked the Cowboys to go to Super Bowl anyway in my bracket. So, I mean,
right.
No, but I mean, look, I think it's a Dan Campbell. It's going to be a close game. I think Debo will play. I mean, they already said today, Eric, he's 50-50. You get 50-50 a day after the game at the NFL level. That just says, okay, he doesn't need to do a ton of practice. He just needs to walk around and see where he needs to be. I think it'll be a hell of a close game. I mean, Brock Purdy, like I said, I'd love to see him do well. Ayuk, but today I'm going Lions. Saturday though, I might come back and switch to the Niners, and therefore I'll just let everybody on Twitter hammer me because that's my typical answer, as you know. But can I say one thing before we get to coaches? I said it last year, and I'll say it again this year. I am sick and tired today of hearing about the stupid rule how we need to reward the offense if they fumble the ball out of the end zone. This is a PSA for me. Because Eric always laughs about this, and that's why I just put me on screen. It has nothing to do with Megan and Eric. It's a stupid – people that say it's a stupid rule don't get the rules of football. All it is about offense. Sneeze on a receiver, except in the playoffs because we don't want it to be about the refs. It's a penalty. If you can't break the plane and you fumble out of the end zone, the other team gets the ball. None of this crap that, it should just go back to the 25-yard line and they get the ball. Why do you get rewarded for it, people? That's a problem with soft-ass society. Eric and I used to walk uphill in the snow both ways to school barefooted and had to like it. It's a phenomenal rule. Break the plane. And for anybody who thinks it's not stupid, I don't know what to tell you. Come talk to me. I'll explain it slowly because we got to get to the coaching carousel. You don't break the plane. You don't get a damn touchdown. The other team caused the fumble. They get the damn ball. Sorry.
I love that you were a gentleman and you didn't throw me in the old crew.
Oh, well, I am, yes, but you were.
No, I'm getting there. Trust, but
I'm sorry, Megan. Weren't you the one that said this past week you were in a relationship with your heater?
Yeah, oh God, it's been cold. Y'all don't understand. It got to 1 degree one day. 1 degree. One.
Hey, it was 27.
I'll tell you right now, I live in Florida and my heat's been on the past. Just to show you how my blood has thinned out, because everybody knows I'm from Philly, but I live down here in Florida. This week alone, I have turned the heat on in my house. I have worn sweaters all week long, and I have broke out my Timbs because I was like, that's how cold it was. So I get it. It
got to 27 here the other night. That was a low, like 27.
Wow.
I mean, I wasn't outside. I walked outside in a sweatshirt and shorts and just said, it's not 120. And I walked back inside.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Last top here tonight on the Sports Arena, NFL Coaching Carousel. We see a lot of coaches part ways. We've seen some coaches do interviews, coaches be released, coaches get fired. So let's just go around really quick because I'm going to ask the Queen of Hoops. I'm going to ask you this question first because I have completely, and you know, thank you, Jesus, Brandon Staley is gone. But that's my first one. Who do you think, in your opinion, the new head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers should be?
Harbaugh. I think that's who you go for. And if you can't get him, you go for Vrabel.
Wow.
That's the best two options there.
Okay. What's your reasoning? I'm curious to see your reasoning behind these guys because
I think that he can go in and be what Justin Herbert needs as far as development, but also he can be a little more forceful with ownership as well, and take his game plan in instead of it having to be coming down from ownership. Something that we know, Cowboys fans know about.
Okay.
And Vrabel, he's absolutely still a great coach. Tennessee, they're dumb as hell letting him go. I don't even have a whole lot of words for it. That's just
listen.
I
get
one of
it.
those like, here's your sign moment. Your stupid sign.
Okay, Mike.
I mean, look, I'm with Harbaugh too. How he works with quarterbacks, and it's not like Justin Herbert's and mechanic, shambles or anything like that. I know Megan's not saying that, but like what he did with even to bring Alex Smith to another level, which me, Alex Smith, his numbers were always close to like Rodgers and Brady, but nobody talked about Alex Smith because, he doesn't want to chuck the ball down the field. Well, he threw less interceptions than them, and they won a lot of games. But I digress. I think it would be good with what he did with Kaepernick. I mean, like we talked about last year, like why is Justin Herbert just standing in the pocket like a statue when this, again, you don't want to, it's like Josh Allen, you get out, slide, but you can move the pocket there. Eric, we've talked about it. Name a throw Justin Herbert can't make because like the dude will roll to the right and launch it 50, 60 yards to the left. I mean, it's insane. So I think Harbaugh makes sense. I mean, when it first happened, I said, I think Belichick would go there too, would fit there too, just because you have a quarterback in Herbert, you have a ton of offensive weapons, you have depth on defense. And, you look at it, all the injuries on offense is what ended up crushing them this year. I mean, it was Keenan Allen's, knock on wood, healthiest year in a while, which was awesome to see. But Mike Williams obviously going out. Austin Eckler was out for extended weeks and stuff like that. So I think Harbaugh, I think if you don't get Harbaugh, because I know he's got a second interview with them. Also, Atlanta wants a second interview with Harbaugh and Belichick too. I will say this, though, Eric, real quick. But, I think Harbaugh should, if he ends up in San Diego, it's perfect. The Titans.
That's 5 push-ups.
Oh, damn it. Yeah, that's 5. God, I did.
You already started in 2024 like that.
I know.
What happened?
But
he said San Diego, not LA.
I said San Diego, yeah. The Titans are finalizing a deal with and I think it's a hell of a hire too. Brian Callahan, who's been the Bengals OC for the last 3 years.
Oh.
Now Burrow got hurt, so look, you knew the Titans were going to hire somebody offensive, and whether Harbaugh thought a guy like Levis was the guy defensively. Look, I mean, Tennessee will keep you in games. It's not like Mike Vrabel left the cabinet empty. Him and the GM didn't leave the cabinet empty. So if Harbaugh ends up there, I would say Belichick ends up in Atlanta. Callahan's obviously in Tennessee, and then, hey man, I think you should put in for the head coach job, and I should put in for the defensive coordinator job in Carolina, because I don't see anybody interviewing for that job.
Hey, Mike, you want to go? I'm good, man. You know what? You could be the head coach. Let me run the defense.
We can't do any worse.
I'm telling you.
That's like
Bryce
the
Young
coach
needs help.
getting fired in A&M. Like they just paid him millions upon millions of dollars not to come to work. That's what Tepper will do. He'll pay you tons of money and he'll let you go before the end of the season. Guaranteed. Right,
that's fine. Let me get that contract, and if you want to fire me midway through, I'm still getting paid. So I'll be like this, chilling. Thank you. I'll try and get you at least 3 wins. If I get you 3 wins, I want an extension.
Right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
He gave Matt Rule a 6-year extension. It could happen.
I just don't see Belichick in Atlanta, Eric. I don't know. And I'm not
saying I didn't see him on the West.
I'm not saying that it's not. I think Plank is a good owner. I think they definitely have more pieces than he had offensively in New England. I do think Desmond Ridder is that guy. This is a guy that, I mean, when he threw the interception this year as or when he lost at home, it was the first time in like 5 years, 6 years, whatever it was, he lost a home game, high school, college, pro. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, I think Desmond Ridder does have the skill set. I think we need to see more out of Kyle Pitts, dude. That dude needs to get open more. Like, you can't come in that touted. And yeah, it's the NFL. I get it, but you have Drake London outside of you. You now have Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier. So, I mean, offensively, I could see it. It's just how much control would they give him? And in that division, I mean, look, like we said, I mean, the Panthers, I think Bryce Young's getting, hammered too much anyway for obviously the season they had. I mean, but you fire the coach halfway through, like you said, 3/4 of the way through, and you go from there. But if Belichick ends up in Atlanta, I just think I just think going to LA for the Chargers, I mean, makes sense. But I think, to Megan's point too, if you can get Harbaugh and he's going to drop the the highest paid college coach contract ever, and he goes out to LA for the Chargers, that to me, that'll be huge too, because then
that's all he has left to accomplish is to win a Super Bowl.
I mean, because he went to
on his checklist of what he went to accomplish
NFC championships, right? Or he went to 2 out of 3 3 straight NFC championships, lost in a Super Bowl to his brother,
right?
But was in the NFC champion. I mean, he was the coaching version, Eric, of Patrick Mahomes, because at least I know. Well, it wasn't it, because his first year he didn't go to NFC championship. But I'm just saying, like, he went to like 3 straight. One of those he went to the Super Bowl. The other one, I mean, what was it? Michael Crabtree, Richard Sherman barely knocked the ball. I mean, their inches are going to back-to-back Super Bowls when Seattle lost to New England. So. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, I could see obviously getting, and if his brother gets another Super Bowl this year after he got a natty, then that would be.
I think it's the most appealing situation to actually give up that contract there at Michigan. I feel like LA, I almost said it, y'all. I feel like LA is the most appealing situation had Dallas's job, or since that job is not available now.
So okay, and Megan, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I do have to ask this question. I simply have to ask this question to the 2 Cowboy fans who are 2 of the 9 Cowboy fans in this entire universe or any other universe that I love, honor, and respect. Why did y'all keep McCarthy? Like, I just don't understand the reasoning when there were names of, in my opinion, better head coaches that would fit what you currently have on your roster. But y'all kept McCarthy?
Because mine and Megan's luck, they would have hired Brandon Staley.
Right. No, and Dom said nobody wants that job. Yeah, right. I mean, you can
Okay,
say
Dom.
whatever you want to say. You can hate on
Well,
Dallas as
look,
much as you want
enjoy.
to.
I know you're still drunk from
It's still
yesterday.
a marquee job in the league. It's still one of the best jobs in the league, supposedly.
But you have to recognize
But-
that your control is only so much.
Right,
Oh,
but
yeah.
here's the
So,
thing.
and that's the thing. You have to be a yes person if you're going to be working for Jerry. But also, we had Shireen Williams on 806 last week, and she is one of the voters for the Hall of Fame, and she's also a beat writer for the Cowboys. And one of her comments was just that Jerry's loyal to a fault. I mean, we saw it with Jason Garrett. And we've seen it many, many times that a player's in trouble with the law. Does Jerry give you a chance? Of course he gives you a chance. He gives you second, third, fourth, Randy Gregory type of chances,
Don't say that name. I want to kick him in the shins 50 times. That's not your fault. It's not your fault, Megan. I'm not yelling at you. I'm just yelling to you because Eric knows how pissed off I am about Randy Gregory.
Well, and I'm almost that pissed off about Mike McCarthy still having a job.
I disagree. Look, Ryan Clark.
We're on two different pages with this one. Yeah, no, I definitely think Mike McCarthy. I felt like one, he should have never even been hired for the job. I'm not impressed with his coaching level. He does not have a run game whatsoever. Never. All his success came from Aaron Rodgers' throwing arm. That's it. That's all.
The Packers ran the ball, and look, they needed a second running back this year, and it's funny because Derrick Henry's going to have a start.
This year, Mike McCarthy's not their coach.
I'm just saying they needed another running back this past season.
Well, we need another running back too. We need our old running back.
With Mike McCarthy, though, here's the thing, and not that I always agree with Ryan Clark, but at least he puts out his points there. And Marcus Spears, I will say, said to NFL Live, the dude has won as a head coach. Again, wins and losses we give to coaches and quarterbacks, but again, team thing. His teams have won 36 games the last 3 years. The injury year was the worst. Now, yes, do you need to win those games to get to the playoffs? Yes. Do you need to win in the playoffs in Dallas, like you said, Megan? And we know it, especially yes, because even Barry Switzer, who just had to stand there and tell Jimmy Johnson's team to do what Coach Johnson said. Even Barry Switzer, who I like, good guy, whatever, but like he won. He got a Super Bowl too. He won a Super Bowl with that team.
Right.
Do I think Mike McCarthy can get them there? Yes. Eric knows how frustrated I get because I wanted him, Megan, and before the first 12, after the first 12-win season, Eric knows I was getting crushed a lot because when he hired, and I'll say his name now, Mike Nolan as his defensive coordinator, I wanted to go to Dallas and not even kick. I wanted to punch him in the head 50 times until he got so conscious that he was like, "Oh, I can't hire Mike Nolan as a defensive coordinator."
I dream about pushing him.
Mike, are you okay? You want to assault a lot of people.
I don't. Right, I'm just saying. No. I would never do that. I'm just saying. In my mind, I was like, "What?" But look, the team, the whole team laid an egg, and that comes down to the head coach. So, Eric, to your point, yes, you look at a playoff. You look at the playoff, how the game ended last year. Kellen Moore's wonderful trick play call, which is a first or second quarter call, not a last play of the game call, where Zeke's snapping the damn ball and you have your lineman to the left, just ridiculous. But I will say this: they would have still paid out a lot of money if they let him go, if they fired him this year. Now, look, we'll see what happens with Dan Quinn. Everybody's got overreaction memory, Eric, and that last game, the defense, obviously he talked himself into going zone, like we said, 75% of the snaps, which they didn't do all year. But if Dan Quinn stays and they do make another run out with the defense, and you add a big body in the middle that can actually stall run games, I'm not saying you're going to shut it down, but stall run games. You add Derrick Henry, who Megan, he was on my.
I've thought about that too. I've thought about that option.
He was on my wish list last year. Trade for him because it's only going to help Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard is very good, and John. And by the way, John, out of both sides of his mouth last year, yeah, because we had to argue last week, Eric. He's saying Tony Pollard needs the ball more. Zeke this, Zeke that. Zeke looked good this year. Look at him spot. I'm like, John, you're killing me, Smalls.
You need a run game that has two different types of backs. We saw it there in Cleveland in the 1 year that they were good the last 20 years. And that's when they had Hunt and Chubb. And I feel like that's kind of what we modeled our run game after. Zeke and Pollard, you know, I mean, you had one guy that's your workhorse,
Right.
And he was a heck of a blocker as well. And then you got your burst of energy and smaller, faster guy in Tony Pollard. Like that's what you need to have success.
But Derrick Henry can still try.
We all know this, right? Why doesn't Mike McCarthy know this?
Well, they didn't have the money. I'm sure he does know it, but at the same time, like
I think the reason that they didn't let him go was just because they were not ready to blow it up. And already our locker room is imploding. We've had drama all week on Twitter about CD's mom. Micah, before the game, before we even played our game, Micah was talking about, I might follow Dan Quinn wherever he goes. Who says that before a playoff game?
Well, you know, sometimes you let our coaches listen.
He might take me with him, but that's not going to happen. So
let me end here tonight on the Sports Arena by simply saying this. And again, shout out to Raphael for joining us, to the Queen of Hoop, and to my brother Mike Harrison-Nudo. He's a Sun Devil, Jerry. Thank you for being here tonight. Let me end y'all with this. The last 3 seasons, you have been 12-5. All right, and you have gotten to the postseason, but for 2 seasons, you were undefeated at home, and in the regular season, of course. And you still could not get the job done. Keeping Mike McCarthy and if you do keep Dan Quinn as your defensive coordinator, you will no longer be the walking piece of mediocrity that you are. The Dallas Cowboys, I will give them a new name for 2024. You will truly be the definition of insanity. That's what you will be. Because you're continually doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us tonight here on the Sports Arena. Much love to everybody. We thank you so much for joining us. We will see y'all next week. And Queen, I will give you the final word, but then we are truly out of here.
Well, okay, so that kind of led us to a topic that we didn't get to tonight, and that was, what can the Bills do? I think the Bills and the Cowboys absolutely have very similar problems in their ownership being too involved in personnel decisions. I think, so you can continually let coaches go, you can change your players, but if it's coming down from the top and it's not going well and you have too much, you need to step back and be an owner, not be a president, not be a GM, because the Bills have the same problem. His wife is the president over there. So I think if they take a step back, both of those teams can benefit.
All right.
Shout out to your boy Embiid for scoring 70 tonight.
We will talk basketball. We will talk basketball another night. From the Queen's lips to God's ears. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. We will see y'all next week. Peace.